Om Gam Ganapate Namaha. This life is given by God to use it in proper way. We should have the purpose, goal, aim to fulfill our cause of birth. Everyone gets birth and gets death. In the meantime, there is no purpose of birth and death. Therefore, the life is mutually attached with attachment and detachment. These attachment and detachment only makes a people to live whether happily with attachment or unhappily with detachment. Sometimes detachment gives happiness, attachment gives misery. There are lots of difference between attachment and detachment. When we are attached too much, it leads to mental agony. We can see attachment should be based on the reasonable ways. You should not exceed. When we love too much anything, it attracts us. When we get much more attachment, then we feel happy. When it goes leaving us, generally it leads to detachment. There are so many root causes to fructify the attachment and detachment. Even Buddhism also, attachment is seen as the root cause of all human sufferings. Detachment gives, according to Buddhism, happiness. Whatever this may be, all the religion asks us, orders us, maintain the cause between attachment and detachment. Nowhere we should exceed the limits of these two. It should be maintained accordingly, otherwise it gives lifelong mental agony. So, the life is called short. What we have to do? We have to make it smart. There will be lots of hurdles we have to face in our life. That's why the elderly people used to say, life is a challenge, face it. Life is the ocean, swim it. Like that, so many sources are given how to overcome our lifestyle from attachment and detachment. In this regard, we have to know the boundaries of attachment and detachment. Unless we know the pros and cons of the attachment and detachment, we cannot judge how to lead peaceful life. Then our life goes into pieces. To avoid such a pieces, to acquire such a piece of life, we should know the values and importance of attachment and detachment. Therefore, we are gift given by God of this life. Therefore, we are indebted to God because His blessings we are leading life. He has given all the facilities. We have to use our sense, which is the best, which is the not best. Therefore, today I took this burning topic, which makes everywhere the people are away from attachment, away from detachment, because of not knowing the values. Therefore, I took the topic of attachment and detachment today. By this, we can come to the conclusion what is given in Shastras. Let us start with prayer. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Partho Dhanurdharaha, Tatra Shrir Vijayo Bhuti, Dhruvani Tirmatir Mama. Mind always vibrates. That is called Chanchalani Manaha. And the vibration indicates the continuous activity. If the mind becomes static or inactive, it is so more mind which becomes inactive and inert stone. The activity of mind is the nature of attraction by aspiring and attaching itself to something else. Such aspiration for something to be achieved generates action or work. Hence, analyzing being having developed mind is always identified with constant work. It means that the mind of such a living being is always active, generating continuous action or work. Hence, the internal mind means external work and vice versa. Since mind is not visible, from the visible work you can infer the active mind. Therefore, Gita says that no human being having developed mind can be seen without doing work. Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishtatya karma krit karyate hyavashah karma sarvah prakriti jair gunaihi. This statement indirectly means that there is no human being without the generation of the concerned external work. This is a special case of resisted work due to practical impassibility. If such resistance is not there, the mind will generate the related work. So, the generation of the work from the mind is to be taken in normal conditions. Even the continuous mental aspiration itself is work, which is the work of the mind. Therefore, the continuous process of aspiration can be taken as the related work generated from the mental attachment. For example, you saw the princess and fell in love with her. This love is the first mental attachment due to the impossibility of making efforts to achieve her. The external work may not be generated, but the process of constant thinking about her is generated, which can be also taken as work. So, the generation of the work from the mind is nowhere violated. Such a person without the external work, but involved in the mental work of continuous thinking is called as hypocrite. This resisted work is also not universal because some person may be mad of our love and may put the external practical effort or work and sometimes may succeed also. Nishkama karma suggested to reduce excess attachment. The Lord knows everything since He is omniscient. Though it is impossible, the Lord propagated this except so that at least the excess force of mental attachment to the fruit gets reduced, so that you will not be much worried with hypertension in case the fruit of your work does not appear at the end of your external effort or work. The advice does not mean that your attachment for the fruit disappeared completely. If it really disappeared, you cannot do even a trace of that work concerned to the fruit. God being the father of all the beings, desires to reduce the tension of all his children, like us. If you do the work concerned to the same issue through detached mind, it means the attached mind exists in you in hidden state without excess force. Therefore, Shankaracharya never agreed to this concept and always propagated the complete disappearance of the work to indicate the concerned complete mental detachment. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. People have misunderstood Adi Shankara by saying that Shankara advised the inactivity of work resulting in the lazy nature. This is a total misunderstanding of the concept of Shankaracharya. Shankaracharya never advised the inactivity in the total work and subsequent total inactivity of mind, since both are impossible. It is already stated in the Gita. What? That no human being can exist with absence of total work, which indirectly means that total inactivity of mind is impossible, since mind and work are always interrelated. Adi Shankara advised only total inactivity of mind, subsequent total disappearance of the external work, concerned to all the worldly issues, since the mind of a true devotee is totally active continuously by the aspiration of God, and subsequently all the work of devotee is concentrated in the work of God. Therefore say, work is worship. Resisting mental attachment is not sannyasa. People used to misunderstand. Stopping all the works due to resisting the mental attachment to all the issue is not meaning of detachment, means sannyasa. The detachment from worldly issues, sannyasa should come through the attachment to God. Therefore, the word sannyasa means both attachment to God and detachment from the worldly issues. Understand attachment, detachment difference? The former should be responsible for the later. The word sannyasa is compounded by the prefix sam and the word nyasa. Sam means perfect. Sanskritam samyak nyasam, sannyasam. Samyak, sam means perfect or complete. Nyasa means to place anything in the world from self, thereby indicating the sense of leaving. Alternatively, this word nyasa may also mean to place anything in the self from the worldly, thereby indicating the sense of taking or receiving. Hence, the word sannyasa means either perfect leaving or perfect taking. You have to take the proper meaning of this word in the proper context throughout the Gita. Since the same word is used in the both senses. For example, we see in Bhagavad Gita, in the verse, Sannyasah karma yogascha nishreyashakara ubhau tayostu karma sannyasat karma yogo vishishyate. Karma means worldly work, not external work or any other work, which is different from karma yoga, the God's work. The essence of this verse is that Though both the detachment from the world and attachment to God are good, the attachment to God is far superior to the detachment from the world. You cannot remain in the statement of detachment from the world for a long time, since total detachment is impossible. Again, Gita says that the detachment from the world comes by the attachment to God. How? Naishkyamya siddhim paramam sannyasena What it says in this verse? The word sannyasa meaning taking the work of God. In other words, Jneyah sanitya sannyasi. Here the word sannyasa means involvement in God through mind and work. Like this, as per the context, the meaning of the word sannyasa should be taken in the sense of leaving or taking. The concept of Adi Shankara is always related to the topmost devotees who are mentally detached from the worldly issues due to mental attachment to God, and also physically detached from the concerned worldly works due to the involvement in the work of God. In case of such devotees only, God interferes and does a work bringing the fruit. The devotee Tyagaraja had one daughter, and the devotee never thought of her marriage due to mental detachment from the worldly issues. Since his mind was attached totally to God, the detached mind could not generate concerned work, and therefore the devotee became inactive in the trial effort for the marriage, since the devotee was always involved in the work of God by propagating God through songs. Therefore, attachment of Tyagaraja to God's work. How it happened? A person detached from the worldly issue and also detached from the concerned worldly work without the attachment to God by mind and work may be similar to Tyagaraja. But the similarity is partial only. The similarity is only in the detachment from the worldly only, but the similarity is not complete, since the person is not complete, since attached to God by mind and work like Tyagaraja. Such a lazy person can be never helped by God. The other person who does the work speaking that he is detached from the fruit also cannot be helped by God, since there is no reference to God in his case. Why? The basic reason is that both these persons are not attached to the God. The second person has already consolation of reduced attention and cannot claim the help from God, which is additional fruit. The absence of work for God clearly indicates that they are not at all mentally attached to God. Even if they are mentally attached to God, the attachment is not real, since such attachment is only instrumental devotion, in which God is made as an instrument to achieve the aspired worldly fruits. In the case of a true devotee, the mental attachment to God is real, which generates the subsequent involvement in God's work, and this is simultaneously characterized by the detachment from the world theory and practice. The relationship between the detachment from the worldly work by mind and practical involvement in the God's work as Sankhya Yoga and Yoga is a diagonal relationship. You can write the detachment from the world by mind on the top of the left side and the consequent detachment from the worldly work in the bottom of the same left side. On the right side, you can write the attachment to God by mind on the top and subsequent involvement in God's work in the bottom of the same right side. Now, the diagonal mean right angle relationship can be easily understood between the mental detachment from the world and practical involvement in God's work. The people are not capable of such right analysis. In the case of people, they think that their side is always the real justice and the opposite side is always real injustice. By this, they may punish the right justice of the opposite side of the work through unjust ways also, taking the advantage of the above established concept. Then what should we do? To avoid such confusion in the followers, the punishments to Rama and Krishna were introduced supporting the concept, that means justifiance. Like this, if unjust means are opposed, there will be at least some control in implementing the hasty, unjust decisions of the ordinary human beings in this world. One promising approach to study attachment and detachment can be traced back to the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, the holiest reliance of the Hindu religion. Asakti, attachment, is the Sanskrit word, and anasakti is Sanskrit word for detachment. A nation regarding attachment and detachment is clearly visible in the cultures and societies of the world. Even though the Western world has had a very heavy influence on the Eastern world over so many years, detachment has survived in the East as a noble and desires goal. On the same lines, following are the perspectives on attachment and detachment espoused by various theoretical viewpoints. How will be yogic perspective regarding attachment, detachment? Attachment can be defined as a feeling of affection for something or someone. According to yogis, the Hindu mythology, attachment is somewhat a negative trait as it encourages the idea of possession and a sense of ownership. It causes us to rely on the tangible and materialistic things for deriving pleasure and satisfaction. They believe that a person who is higher on attachment will have a consumerist approach towards everything and everyone. His happiness will always be dependent on external sources, and thus he will always have to face disappointment. This will lead to a constant swing of moods from euphoria to sorrow. This kind of extreme unpredictability and disuniformity is considered to the root of an years to child's development is so imperative as it shapes the personality being an adult. The psychodynamic view introduced us to the structure of psyche, mean ego and superego, and propounds that all conflicts arise from an intrapsychic disputes between the three. What are the three? Id, ego, and superego. According to this perspective, the ego has to be more dominant than both the id and the superego in order to maintain balance between the two and keep them from being overly powerful. In psychology, attachment and detachment are connected with ego, defense, and hence fall under the subject matter of psychoanalysis. While psychoanalysis emphasizes the importance of ego as being supreme, yogists challenge this view by questioning what happens when the ego becomes all powerful and dominant. According to yoga psychologists, such as state would lead to ahankara or the feelings of immense pride. This happens when the ego gets overly attached. This leads to an increase in aggression and hostile feelings. The individual constantly feels the need to exert his power over others, and this can lead to maladaptive behaviors, which plays a precedent for abnormality. Hence, while psychoanalysis backs the importance of ego, yoga psychologists condemn this aggrandizement of the ego. To elucidate, to explain further the concepts of attachment and detachment, the following theories are imperative to discuss. What are they? First, attachment theory. Attachment theory propounded by John Bowlby from early 1960s saw attachment as something that is developed in formative years of life. For example, how an infant gets attached to its primary caretaker, which is usually the mother. It seeks to explain how this attachment formed in developmental years influences one's concept of security, trust, and safety. He greatly advocated the positive role played by attachment were more open to taking risks and trying new things in contrast to the detached kids who will always seek external help in everything they do. This happened mostly because of attached kids have already had most of their needs fulfilled by caregiver. To support this claim, Bowlby conducted a study on 44 juvenile delinquents in a clinical settings. He found that more than half of the thieves had been separated from their mothers for a minimum period of 6 months in the 5 years of their life. So he concluded that attachment is an innate need, and we are born with this theory widely contradicts the view of yoga psychologists who believe it is impossible for individual to be loving and affectionate without getting attached. Now, object relations theory, another one. The objects relation theory given by Melanie Klein in the mid 1900s is somewhat similar to Bowlby's theory in the sense that is too suggested that a child forms an attachment to an object in its very formative years, and the object is usually an image of the mother. Later, the object can never be a tangible thing that had an impact on the child in the developmental years. Attachment is an iron or inborn need of a person, and this can never be absent in a healthy and stable individual. Those devoid of attachment are likely to develop psychopathic tendencies. Hence, this theory too opposes the view given by the yoga psychologists. Now, behaviorist viewpoint. It was suggested by behaviorists that attachment is learned by a child through classical development condition from day one. As soon as mother feeds a child, feelings of attachment are formed. Many studies have been conducted in this regard by Harlow and Bowlby. The basis of this theory that children come into this world biologically pre-programmed to form attachments. Therefore, this perspective to counter the yogic perspective. It proves that attachment formation is an imperative to a fully functioning individual, and detachment leads. Attachment and detachment. Indian philosophical perspective to conflict formation of dysfunctional behaviors later in my life. This has been further confirmed by various studies conducted on juvenile delinquents, addicts, and vandalisms. Attachment and detachment in India context. It is well known fact that Eastern cultures are much more collective visage and prone to the idea of group cohesion. Countries like India, China, etc. are examples of collectivity culture. Basically, in the Eastern culture, attachment is seen as the something that is individual needs to get rid of. The aim in Eastern cultures and according to scriptures, both Hinduism and Buddhism, is to detach oneself from worldly possessions and emotions. Hence, we cannot postulate that detachment is never formed in the East. Srimad Bhagavad Gita itself, there have been specifically 150 verses related to Asakti and Anasakti. 85 slokas that deal with Anashakti and above 64 slokas for Asakti. It is clearly stated that following attachment leads to desire, which leads to aggression and hence stops an individual from attaining enlightenment and self-actualization. The Gita advises one to be comfortably or completely altruistic in one's actions and difficulty do good deeds without expecting anything in return, as karma will make sure you will get the deserved. Indian perspective can be understood by turning to the spiritual wisdom of the East that has its core or core ways to be eternally and unconditionally happy and satisfied. Ananda and Nritya Vritti mean eternal fulfillment and satisfaction. Irrespective of internal or circumstance limitation, Anasakti is not about the surrender of the objects in the world. In Buddhism, too, attachment is seen as the root cause of all human sufferings and interpersonal conflicts. Renouncing of material things and household life has been practiced in Buddhism since the beginning. However, Buddhists refrain from using the word detachment. They prefer to call it a non-attachment and describe it as a state in which possesses our own material things. Thus, when we can find the description of attachment and detachment. Kanthaya Kalyana Nidhi Nidhi Sri Venkateswaraya Srinivasaya Mangalam Mangalasahasrapade Udacharya Brahmaya Sarvesha Guru Acharya Satkritaya Astu Mangalam.